All right, welcome. Today we're going to dive into a pretty amazing story that pulls together poetry, some absolutely magnificent wildlife painting, and you guessed it, the secret world of a lion pride. This is Playtime.
So, the story just throws us right into the middle of the action. There's no slow build-up, it's just two young lions doing exactly what they do best. You know, a little nibbled ear is apparently considered sublime. This tells you right away this isn't some random scuffle, it's a ritual they really cherish.
And that's really the key, isn't it? The poem calls this their thing, their joint event. It's basically a scheduled part of their day, a little pastime that the parents have totally learned to expect, and for the most part, even allow.
Okay, so let's officially step into this world. The world of playtime, as dreamed up by the poet Dennis Martindale, and see what rules are actually in place for this, well, seemingly chaotic game. What's so interesting here is this immediate sense of hierarchy. I mean, these cubs, as wild as they are, they just instinctively know the boundaries. There's this unwritten code, you just don't mess with the adults. As the poem puts it, they're simply too big to chew. Nope, it's just not the thing to do.
So, let's see how this all builds, because this isn't just random tumbling around. There's a real story here, a little daily drama that has its own set of rules and a very clear beginning, middle, and, of course, an end.
The poem paints a perfect little picture of this daily battle. A lot of times, it kicks off as a way to settle a score from the day before. You know, a little bit of playful revenge. And that means surprise attacks are pretty common, which forces both cubs to always stay on their toes. It escalates into this really hard-fought, daring battle until it goes just a little too far. And what are the parents doing while all this is going on? Well, they're watching. They actually choose not to step in. But their roles are very different. While they both observe the chaos, it's Dad who holds the ultimate authority. He's the one who decides when enough is finally enough.
And boom, here it is, the turning point. The entire energy of the scene just shifts in a single moment. There's no roar, no swat of a paw, just a look. A simple glance from Dad is all it takes to communicate that a line has definitely been crossed.
You know, it all feels so specific, so real. You can almost see the dust kicking up and hear the little playful growls, which really makes you wonder, how did the poet capture this moment with such incredible clarity? Where did a story like this even come from? Well, the answer is just fascinating, because the inspiration for these words didn't come from other words at all. It actually came from a totally different art form.
That's right. This whole poem, this incredibly detailed story of lion-cub behavior, actually began its life as brushstrokes on a canvas.
You know, there's a formal term for this. It's called ekphrasis. It's the art of using words to describe or respond to a piece of visual art. So the poem isn't just about lions, it's a direct response to a very specific image of lions. And the artist behind that image is Stephen Gayford, a really well-known wildlife painter from the UK. So this poem we're talking about, it only exists because Gayford first picked up his brush. And this connection, it's not just some happy accident. It's actually part of a much larger, long-running creative partnership between the poet and the painter. To really get the scale of this, just think about this number. Stephen Gayford has painted over 700 different wildlife scenes. His body of work is just immense, capturing countless little moments in the natural world.
This table just lays it out so perfectly. You can see the creative process in action. First, Gayford creates the visual world with his painting. Then, Dennis Martindale steps into that world and gives it a voice, a story, through his poetry. It's this beautiful, direct chain of inspiration. And get this, their collaboration is so extensive that hundreds of Martindale's poems take their exact titles from Gayford's paintings. So one artist's title literally becomes another artist's starting point. How cool is that? So let's circle back to that really powerful final moment in the poem, but now with this new understanding that it was probably first captured in a single painted image.
And here we are again, back at the climax. Dad warned with a glance. It's that one single action that brings the whole game to a screeching halt. All that energy, all that playful chaos, it's just frozen by this one silent command.
And the effect is instant. The cubs, they get it immediately. The poem even gives us their internal thought. Oh, that's all it takes. Message received. The tension breaks, and just like that, calm is restored.
So yeah, the crucial point is that this glance is the universal signal. The father's frowns disappear, he doesn't look so tense anymore, and the cubs know.
Playtime has officially run its course for another day.
And that really leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? This story of a poem being born from a painting is such a perfect example of creative synergy. It really makes you wonder, how many other songs or stories or poems exist just because an artist saw something beautiful and thought to themselves, I have to share this?